Hi everyone, my name is Chaitni. I am a mindset and nutrition coach. I work with clients to help them cope with stress, depression, or anxiety through healthy habit formation, lifestyle changes, and proper nutrition. If wellness interests you, then please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I drop a wellness related video every week. If you're more of a reader, then make sure to sign up for my blog. I send out bi-weekly self-love and self-care reminders. And lastly, you can follow me on Instagram at Imperfect Bodies by C Modi. So this week's topic is how to stick to your New Year's resolutions. Ideally, you can set resolutions whenever you want throughout the year, but it just felt kind of relevant to talk about it because it is the beginning of 2024 and a lot of people will set resolutions at the beginning of the year. Many people will kind of fall off track and lose the momentum that they've gained with the resolutions through the first month of the year. So this video really talks about some ways that can help you stay true to whatever you've resolved to do and to building those new habits. So one of the first things is try addition instead of elimination goals. What that means is a lot of times when we set goals, they're more focused on subtracting or taking away from what we already do. So it's a lot harder to break a whole habit and it's a lot easier to build a new one that actually replaces that old habit. So when you're eliminating, your goal might be, to cut back on caffeine, to drink less alcohol, to eat less processed foods. But again, that's trying to break an already existing habit. Instead of that, try, I will add more veggies to my diet, or I will stay more hydrated and drink at least 3 liters of water every single day. Or instead of alcohol, I will opt for I will opt for sparkling water or, some kind of fruit infused beverage or a non-alcoholic beverage. So there are a lot of other ways that you can develop your goals. Make sure they are addition goals and not elimination goals. Like I said, it's a lot harder to break old habits and it's much easier to build new ones and to replace those old habits with the new ones. Number 2 is show yourself some kindness and compassion throughout the process. No 2 days are alike, and so there will be some days that don't go as planned. Some days might even feel like you're not making any progress towards your goals. On those days, you have to be the kindest to yourself. For instance, if your goal is to eat more home-cooked food and you've had a really long day at work and that was impossible and you default to some kind of takeaway or some kind of pickup food, that's okay. On those days, you don't want to beat yourself up because your circumstances were really such that you couldn't stick to your goal. With these kind of situations, really focus on, instead of beating yourself up, really focus on, okay, if this is going to be your circumstances consistently for the next few months or for the next few weeks, then just tweak your goals so that it's actually achievable and tweak it in a way that you can actually perform it on a consistent basis. So that's one. The other thing with being being kind and compassionate towards yourself is really about being kind and compassionate to your future self. What that means is sometimes saying no to yourself today so that your future self actually thanks you for it. So in the current moment, if you get really tempted to have that slice of chocolate cake, or you feel like, today I don't feel like working out, I just don't want to move my body, I'd rather sit on the couch and watch some Netflix and order takeout. That's when you tell yourself no. That's when you remind yourself of what your future self looks like and wants. And instead of doing a 60-minute workout and going to the gym, maybe you do something at home really quick for 10 minutes. Or going for that entire slice of chocolate cake, maybe you just take 2 bites and say, you know what, that's enough for now. I'm happy at least got to eat 2 bites because my future self, really, you have a vision for that self and you really want something, a goal that you've set aside for your future self. So being compassionate and kind is obviously showing yourself some grace, but at the same time, learning to say no in the moment and developing some discipline so that the future you thanks you for it down the road. Number 3 is prepare for setbacks. So sometimes you could have the best plans and the best of intentions, but things will not go as planned, and that is life in general. So when that happens, one is really trying to anticipate for those setbacks. You obviously don't have a crystal ball and you cannot predict your future, but there are some things that you know might happen. For instance, if you found out that you have a looming deadline at work and your project is due in a month's time, that means putting in long hours at work, coming home late, leaving early, then you need to work around all of that to try and achieve your goal, or you tweak your goal. So that's one way to anticipate the setbacks. Another way is doing the best you can in the moment. You know, you won't always be able to control what's going on. You won't always know what might happen. Sometimes things just happen and other things take a priority and it feels like your goals have taken a back seat, and that's all right, because in that moment, just remind yourself to control what you can and to do the best that you can. And in that moment, that's all that's going to matter, because that is exactly how you build and develop a habit, is when things don't go as planned. Because it's very easy to have that habit form into place and fall into place when everything is going as planned. But like I said, that's not how life functions. There will be pitfalls, there will be obstacles, there will be surprises. So for all of that, you have to get used to these situations where you haven't planned for it and you're still sticking to your guns and you're still following the goals that you set in place, so that when things get rough, you still default to that habit, the new habit that you've created. So keep in mind that setbacks will happen. Plan for them as much as you can. When you can't, you just kind of go with the flow and do the best you can. Number 4 is plan, and plan some more. The devil is in the details. You know, you can't just set a vague goal and expect it to come to fruition at the end of the year. It doesn't work like that. Your goal needs to be specific, but the steps that you need to take to achieve that goal also need to be very concrete and very detailed. For example, if your goal is to do more yoga. Well, okay, then let's figure out which days you want to go. Where do you want to go to yoga class? Do you want to do it at home? How many days a week do you want to do yoga? Do you have a yoga mat at home? Do you want to use an app if you're not going to the gym and you're doing it at home? Is there somebody you can do this with so you have an accountability partner? So those are all boxes that you need to check off. Those are all questions that you need to answer, because the more specific you are with how you will achieve your goal, the more the chances of you succeeding. When you don't make concrete plans and you kind of just leave it to chance, you set the goal and you expect to fulfill that goal, the chances of you falling short of achieving the goal are extremely high. So make sure you plan. It can seem tedious in the beginning, but it will totally pay off. So plan, and plan some more. Number 5 is have rewards set in place. So yes, ideally you want to be intrinsically motivated to work out. You want to be intrinsically motivated to have your fruits and veggies. You want to be intrinsically motivated to go to bed at a decent hour and wake up at a decent hour. But when you're initially starting out, intrinsic motivation doesn't work. That's why you're setting a New Year's resolution. That's why you're setting a goal. And that's why you're trying to achieve it. So default to extrinsic motivators, more of those materialistic things, more of those tangible things. And they can be small and they can be fun. It doesn't need to be anything major. At consistent milestones, maybe you can reward yourself with something small. It could be, the most common one is a cheat day for most people who stick to a diet. But that's besides the point. You come up with your own extrinsic rewards. It could be a coffee date with yourself. It could be a new book that you want to read. It could be a dress that you've been eyeing, or it could be a movie that you really want to watch. Whatever it is, you come up with what's going to motivate you, and try to make them small, try to make them fun, and try to make them frequent. You can also have a really massive extrinsic reward set up for when you fully achieve your goal. So maybe if your goal is to fit into the pants that you bought a year ago, hopefully in a healthy way, and you achieve that goal, there's something big that you have planned. Like maybe it could be a trip to a certain place that you've been wanting to visit, or it could be running a marathon, or going skiing with some friends, whatever floats your boat. So it can be something a lot bigger. It could be purchasing something, but without extrinsic rewards, sometimes it's really hard to get started and to stay the course. So they're not bad. Use them to your advantage. And eventually, if you stick to this enough, what'll happen is you'll get to a point where you are intrinsically motivated to stick to this New Year's resolution and to turn it into a habit. So bottom line, behavior change is not as difficult as it seems. I know when we set out with these resolutions, we've done that time and time again, a lot of times, and we've fallen off the bandwagon, but it doesn't have to be that way. You know, the most important piece before you come up with your goal is to really understand your why. What is your purpose behind this goal? Why does it matter that you will achieve it? What will it look like? How will it feel? And once you have a very clear, concrete answer to that question, it gets a lot easier. That's when you can use some of the suggestions that I shared with you, like planning, setting extrinsic rewards, and a few others that I've shared. Use one, use all of them, but use those, and you can use those suggestions, and you can make sure that whatever goal that you've set aside or whatever resolution that you've made, you're able to stick to it for 2024. So good luck with your goals. I wish you the very best. And as always, thank you for stopping by. Always happy to talk to you. I will catch you here next week. In the meantime, I hope you have a fabulous week. Take care. Bye-bye.